Hi, I'm Quasar and welcome to the guide for running LEGO Harry Potter CS537 in the free play category. This will go over everything you need to know, also some basic tech explanations for people who are new to the game. This will also go over the restricted route and the unrestricted route. First things first, we'll need a save file to play on, which you can download in the resources section on the speedrun.com site. We'll need the newest free play save and we'll install it on the path that I'll show on screen right now. Optimally, we will need 2 save files with this save file installed. After downloading the save file and putting it in 2 different save files in the game, you'll see you'll have one. I have one on slot 2 and one in slot 3. The one in slot 3 is just set up so I can really easily load Grey Lady Flying, which is a tech that we'll use a lot in this category, and I will showcase later in this guide. All we need to do for setting up this glitch is entering the room I'm gonna be heading to right now. So this is already the room where I need to be to load the glitch. The reason I have a second save file is just to load the room really quickly because it's really far to walk every time. So it's in the castle, right? Here you want to go fully on the right. On these staircases, go up and just be in this room, and that's enough. Then you can quit this save file once you've set it up, and then go into the other save file so we can start running the free play category with the glitch loaded in. The Grey Lady Flying glitch state will be saved as long as the game is kept open. This guide expects you to know the basics of 1P2C, so I'll link a video down in the description that will help you learn 1P2C or at least set it up. The video settings that we're gonna look at is VSync. It needs to be turned off for this category because it will make freeze clips way better. The more FPS, generally, the better freeze clips you'll get because they are a bit of RNG. Texture quality is on low. Brightness doesn't really matter, and if in effect settings, put everything to low and off. Some extras that are already bought in this save file are gonna need to be turned on. So super strength, ball rescue, invincibility, fast stick, and fast magic. Christmas I don't recommend turning on. So a bit of tech explanation now. The main text that we're gonna use is freeze clipping and a Grey Lady Flying. So I'm gonna quickly change characters. You'll also see that in this save file we only have a couple characters unlocked. This is really good because whenever we enter a level we only get these characters and they're the most important to complete the run. So the main tech, Grey Lady Flying, is a glitch that gives you infinite height. We set it up earlier by going into the specific room in the castle, but whenever we switch to the Grey Lady and we hold jump whenever we're in the air, we'll just gain the ability to keep going up. We can also let go to go down slowly. If we want to go down quicker, we can just switch characters and switch back. You'll also need to practice going straight a bit by tapping jump repeatedly. The freeze clipping that I'm talking about is gonna be, you're gonna need 2 players. One player for this run, mostly P1, player 1, will need to be on the red spell or the spell right next to Lumos, because this spell is a bit different because it has this animation. And on the other player, we're gonna need Glacius, so make sure you have Glacius selected and not just Wingardium Leviosa. So whenever we hit the second player, with glaciers, you'll see they start shaking a bit when trying to get loose. This shaking we'll use to go through walls because it doesn't really because it ignores walls basically. But it is RNG because where you shake to is RNG. You have a 50% chance to shake to the right for a second and 50% to the left. Whenever we hit the other player with glaciers, we want to actually switch spells while doing this to Lumos to interact, to stop the glacier spell from actually doing its thing. Like this. Then we're just stuck in the ice block and we want to switch back off Lumos and back on. This is very linear, so you don't need to really practice it a lot. Like you saw, once I switch to glaciers when I get hit. Switch to glaciers when I get hit, go off and go on again, I'll start shaking really hard. And it just ignores walls. Like that. Most of the time, when trying to go through a wall, I personally think it's better to have the player's left shoulder facing to the wall or facing to the right of the wall with their face. Like this. Then you'll start shaking to the back, hopefully. And that's a basic explanation of freeze clipping. We've gone over Grey Lady flying, and 1P2C should be known already. So let's get into the run itself. For this tutorial, I'll be watching the record and noting any details, but if there's any more explanation I need to give, I'll go in game and explain it even more. That will probably be for most levels. The displays on top are the displays I'll be using for the tutorial. The displays on the bottom, you can watch in the world record to see what I do. The order of levels that we're gonna play is kind of up to you, because it's from the most difficult to least difficult is the main thought behind it, because you can play these levels in any order. 8-1 and 7-3 are almost always gonna be the first two levels. So let's get into 8-1. I'll just go in with one player at the start of the run, and I'll just select Harry. Player 1 always has to be Harry, and Harry's always 1 or 2, 3 switches away from the Grey Lady, which is used to do the Grey Lady flying or infinite height. So switches to the right. In this level I think it's 2 switches to the right, you'll see it, and then I can start flying. So we'll enter the level. Time starts whenever you select the character and press OK on selecting the character and entering the level. Then we enter this first section in the mines. This section is a 40-second or 50-second auto-scroller. The only thing you have to do is when you start passing these red buttons, you just start spam shooting until you leave the room, basically. We'll keep going. You'll see at the top I shot all of them, and after about 50 seconds I enter a cutscene which I can skip. You can also see my input display. I press up right, and we'll try to go with our right foot exactly in the middle of this room. Just place your right foot, there's a cross you'll see, in the middle of this room. Now this is gonna be important. I jump once I place my right foot. I jump. And immediately I'll just start switching 2 times to the right, which you can also see on the input display. Right here, the bumpers are switching, so I do 2 to the right. Right here. And that will make it so I get Grey Lady, and I keep holding jump. I just keep holding jump, and I look at my timer immediately. This room is really difficult, because when we jump, we look at the timer, we see, for me, it's 53 seconds I jump at, and we're gonna look at the live split and wait 27.5 seconds or 28 seconds. Something between that. We're just gonna wait. And we keep holding up. Just keep going up for 27.5 to 28 seconds. So we get the correct height to hit a invisible debug door. So it's a little invisible cube in the air, very high up, that we can hit going straight forward, and it just ends the level. This is something the devs left back in, and we're able to hit it with Grey Lady. This is not easy, so don't get discouraged if it doesn't work immediately. So the 53 plus 27.5 is about 1 minute 21 seconds. So whenever I hit 1 minute 21 seconds, I hold upright because I was neutral. I hold upright, so I go up and I start spamming a jump at a rhythm. You'll see it. This is something I think I said before in the tech explanation, but whenever we just spam jump, we try to keep the same level of height, the exact same level of height. So I go forwards and I just try to keep on the same height after waiting 27.5 seconds. And if it works, the level just ends. That's level 1 done. I'm not gonna go in game for this because there's not much to show. So we're just spamming X to leave this level, or spamming jump, whatever. We go back. Every time we leave a level, we just have to walk around this pillar back to this place. And then the movies are right here. We'll have to select the next level. Selecting the level should be pretty easy. I dropped in player 2 while walking to the level select, but you can also do it once you're in the level. We're gonna go to 7.3, as stated in the live split. Once we enter, I switch to Fang. What this does is Fang has a bit faster movement speed, so I'll just walk over to the right with Fang to go a bit faster. But if you don't want to switch, just go to the right. Player 2 just keeps standing on the left. Keep standing here. Once we reach about the tombstone right here, it's a bit left to the gate. You can also see the student in peril. We start going up by jumping and switching to Grey Lady. And just keep holding jump. This should be pretty easy to do right now because Grey Lady flying should be pretty easy to learn, and we have used it a couple times. We go up. You'll see that I hit an invisible wall. There's a big invisible wall right here. So we just go over. Then I'll switch to the left. You'll see it right here on the bumper. I'll switch to the left. I'll fall down behind the gate and I'll just walk a bit right to hit the normal trigger that ends this part of the level. We just don't open the gate, go over and go down. So you see I switch. I also put my player 1 on the red spell, the Findo, so I can do freeze clipping by switching to Lumos, back, and back to Lumos after I get frozen. So when I get frozen, switch to Lumos, then off it and on it. That should be pretty easy now. And you should be able to understand it. I hit the trigger, I'll walk to the right. There's a wall right here. I look down with Harry. Player 2 will hit with Glacius, will hit player 1. Player 1 will do the freeze clip, the infinite freeze clip. There is also different kind of freeze clip, which is just spamming, but I'll link a basic tech video in the description. Maybe you can look at it. I personally don't use it. There's a lot of people who do. It's better for specific walls, but I've never sought out which walls are better, so I don't really use it. So you see, I'll start a freeze clip. I also push a bit with player 2. I try to push him a bit towards the wall, not in the wall, because then he can just fly off into the different direction. Just keep him at the wall and wait until I go through. Then I switch to Grey Lady by switching once to the right with the right bumper. Start flying by holding jump. And then I drop out player 2 because we don't need her anymore for this section. Go up. Then I'll just aim around this place, at least this height on the wall. And I'll redo that. So I just go further and further up. Just go straight up and further. The last part of this level is loaded in the same room. So we try to go to the back part of this last level by going at the wall where we were just flying. We came from the left. Then I try to get my camera so I see this big log to keep the roof up. I just place it on the bottom side of my camera. I drop down, but there's a small visual cue. So once Grey Lady is fully in my camera and there's only a bit of space here, I start going up and I start holding up again. So I also start going up physically and upwards on the y-axis. So we hit the trigger that's about here and just above this roof. If you go too low, if you go a bit further down, you'll get sucked into the boss fight with the snake in this level. You'll get sucked back and there's no way to save it. You have to restart the level or play the boss fight or just reset a run, which is technically the best because it's a huge time save if you miss this. So I'll go in game and quickly show this level off. Hopefully the game loads. Okay, so now my input displays are working. I'll go into 7-3, which is the level we just looked at. Free play. Select Harry. I'll drop in player 2 immediately. Normally she's dropped in already, but if you forget, there's nothing wrong. You can just drop her in or drop him in. Then I go to Fang. I just jump a bit. And at this tombstone, I jump, switch to Grey Lady, go right, switch to Harry, switch twice to the right to hit the red spell, go into the trigger, walk upright to the wall, excuse me, do a freeze clip, hopefully go through the wall. As you can see, it always takes a bit. This can be really bad, but with higher FPS it should be better. So make sure VSync is off again. So I'm getting like out the wall a bit, but I'm flipping back in, so I'll need to do it again. Okay, I drop out player 1 or player 2. I have already switched to Grey Lady, otherwise I fall down way too far. I go further along this wall. So this is the beam I'm talking about. I go down, slightly left of the middle of the roof, by the way. This is very important, slightly left. Just until she's fully in frame. If I go lower, I need to restart the level. Like that, I got sucked in and I have to restart the level. You just go up from the position I was and you should be able to hit the trigger. I'm not going to do this again, but it should be pretty self-explanatory now. Once you hit it a couple times, it should be a good visual cue. Okay, now this level has ended. We'll go into 6-4. So yeah, just go to the pad. I've dropped in player 2 already. Go to level 6 and then movie 6, then level 4. This is also a bit of a tricky level because all the difficult levels are in the start of the run. And it's not always difficulty that matters, but some bad freeze clips. That doesn't make it difficult, but it does make it lose more time if you get a bad freeze clip, because it's easier to get a bad freeze clip on some walls. So get into this level. Then I jump. Let's look at this. Player 1 jumps, switches to Grey Lady, and flies up and to the front to the camera. Player 2 is gonna walk all the way up left and get herself stuck between this bottle right here and the wall. There's like a little collision right there. So let's watch. I switch to Grey Lady. Player 2, all the way in the back left, is stuck between the bottle and the wall. And the Grey Lady goes all the way to the front until the invisible wall and goes right. You'll see I clipped through the wall. And we go upright, like you can see right here. I go upright, and I go down again after holding up for a bit longer. That makes it that player 1 is right here somewhere out of bounds, and player 2 is still pushed into this bottle and the wall. This is very important for fixing the camera for a setup to hit the debug door that we're trying to hit. Player 1 now gets onto this out of bounds balcony and gets stuck in this corner right here. Just stand against it. Then player 2 drops out while being stuck here still, and that will give us a very specific camera. You'll see the camera go like that. I switch off Grey Lady, so I'm able to jump because Grey Lady cannot jump, so she can't start gaining height. I go off to Harry Potter with a switch to the left, jump, switch to the right, keep going up, go over the invisible wall because there's another invisible wall on the balcony here. It stands up, bit like this. I go over, then I go down by switching to Harry Potter because that's faster to fall with another character, not Grey Lady. And then I'll just go back, and once I'm about this height, so I'm looking, this is the middle one, first to the left, second to the left, I want to see a bit of her, only a bit. She wants to be cut off on the second bar on the window. I'll go back that way. Once I'm turning very bright, I'll go back a bit more, and I'll turn around and go to the camera, towards the camera. And I'll just hit the trigger. That's room 1. Room 2, I drop in player 2. I switch player 1 back to Harry Potter, and we're gonna do freeze clip. This should be all explained by now, how to freeze clip. So that shouldn't be too difficult. Just line up with Harry looking to the right, freeze clip, and hopefully go through the wall. Once I'm out of bounds, I'm dropping out player 2 again, because we don't need him. And then we fly to the right and do not go in bounds yet. We want to go all the way to the right. And we want to get on top of this second sink to fix our camera. Right here we stand. This is all still out of bounds. This is in bounds. So don't go to the left. Stay on this right side. Switch to Harry and switch off Lumo so we can jump and start gaining height. So yeah, once we stand on this one, the camera will give us a very specific position. We go off, we go out of bounds again because these walls don't exist. We switch to Grey Lady, and then we're gonna do 3 switches. So switch to the Harry Potter and back to Grey Lady very fast at a rhythm, because this debug door doesn't really have a setup. It's all based off feeling, so you'll need to do it a couple times. I switch off and on, and that also makes my character icon appear. If I don't switch to Harry and back to Grey Lady, we also don't see a character icon, so we don't know where he is. So keep switching to Harry and back to Grey Lady, because this blue icon will pop up. Then we'll go to the left. We try to hit the trigger to the left. I'll go back a bit. So we're trying to go about this block right here and this block, we try to go left, hit the trigger. If it doesn't work, we go right, left, and just keep trying. Go a bit further back, go a bit further in front, but by small bits every time, just try and hit the trigger. I'll show it in game after this. This last room is pretty easy. We switch off Harry Potter, jump, switch back on Grey Lady, jump, yeah. Go all the way to the right of the level. You can see this thing right here, the curtains. We want to stand on top of this right side, this little knob. Go up and hold forwards, D-pad forwards, so we go exactly forwards. Then we go over the invisible wall. We go a bit higher than that and a bit more forward, so we're actually over it and above it. And we switch to Harry Potter and try and spin a bit or go back towards the camera. In this, I'll not set up and just keep holding forwards or not D-pad forwards, my bad. A bit left or straight forward so we don't slip off the wall. We don't get pushed by the wall. I'll go up and I hit the trigger, which ends the level. I'll show this in game right now. The further we get into these levels, the less explaining I'll do, so these first couple levels I'll show off everything. But I'll still go quite in depth every time. So I need to have player 2, player 1. Player 2 runs up left right here, while player 1 jumps, switches to Grey Lady, and goes up. Player 2 keeps his place, we go out of bounds right here. Try and get onto the balcony right there, as you can see. Then I push a bit in to be sure. I drop out, and now I have this camera. I'll jump, switch to Grey Lady, go over, and now you'll see I'm like at the second bar I told. I'm very bright compared to normal, and I'll just go towards the camera if I'm bright along that seam. That will work. Normally it should work 100% of the times. We'll freeze clip back out here. Let's see how long this takes, because it varies a lot. This one is a pretty bad freeze clip. That is also why the level is this early, because there's a lot of easy time loss. If it doesn't work, just retry. Nothing to worry about. Especially when starting out, your freeze clip standard shouldn't be too high. Don't be afraid to finish more runs and do no reset. So I keep being out of bounds, go through these walls that don't exist, get on top of this sink, go on the floor, switch to Grey Lady, and I'll do 1, 2, 3 switches at that tempo, about that. I'll just go left and right, and that was really lucky, so I went left again and I hit it. Just try and get a feeling for it. If you watch the Unrestricted world record, I think you can see a bit more how you should be doing it. So we stand on top of this, switch to Grey Lady, go forwards over the wall, and just fall into the trigger. That's just over the invisible wall and above it. Just fall into it. You cannot fall into it with Grey Lady. It has to be another character, I think. So that's the third level done. Now we'll go into the fourth level of this run, 5-3. Okay, I skipped the entering, so I enter. Just normally doesn't need a second player for now. There is one freeze clip I won't be doing. So yeah, I just walk until I get to this X sign, and Grey Lady fly all the way, and we're aiming for this gate to get behind it. We're just flying until we hit the wall a bit, go over, and then we switch to fall faster down, and we get behind the gate. Should be pretty self-explanatory. Then we try to walk into the gate a bit more like this. I'm not perfectly perpendicular because the gate pushes us out a bit. We want to walk into it past this handle, and we'll hit the trigger that's just behind the gate, which is pretty easy to hit. Should be no problems. It's actually just walking into it, no setup needed. Then, in the second room, there's a freeze clip and a debug door that I don't do. So I'll just be showing the casual strat. It's, I think about 15 seconds slower. Or 20 seconds. Not 20, but 15, 16, 17, which is not too much. We'll force this doorknob, and then with the then with the yellow spell we'll hit the clouds, so we know what she wants. Force this broom on the cobweb, and then there's something new. Whenever there's a camera pan in this game, we can just call in the second player as soon as it starts, but you have to be ready for it. Whenever it moves, you see the camera move, call in player 2, and it interrupts the camera pan, and we don't have to watch it. Some of these camera pans are really long, so we really want to avoid these. I will keep player 2 dropped in, doing nothing for 2 more rooms. So we give the object to her. And what I can do is also switch to Lumos, and then switch back off Lumos. But whenever we switch to Lumos, you'll give the object quicker because there's no animation. Lumos interrupts all animations. That's why freeze clips also work. You also keep holding the object with it, which is a cool side effect. But yeah, we give it to her with the Lumos switch to make it faster. She'll do a dance, open the room, don't have to do anything, and this room ends. Now, this room, pretty easy. Whenever you spawn in, you spawn in right here. You jump and switch, hold perfectly up with D-pad up right here. As jump, hold jump, switch to Grey Lady, and just go up, up, up. Sometimes go a bit left, so you can just follow. So you can just follow the seam along the roof right here. We just want to go up, 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 up. If you release up for a bit, you'll be under the trigger, so go up. Pretty easy. Do it all in the beginning, and then just keep holding up and jump. Hit the trigger, skip the cutscene. Right here, we just walk to the end. It doesn't matter if you're Fang or not. Fang is a bit more advanced. So we get both players at the end. We'll do freeze clip through this door. The sides here are more difficult, so we'll try to keep being in this door. We do freeze clip, and then switch to Grey Lady immediately so we don't fall down. So freeze clip, go through the door, switch to Grey Lady, drop out player 2 because we don't need him, and go up. And we're trying to go through this lamp. We have to go through this lamp to get a good camera. If you're not sure if you had the right positioning, just stop, get in the lamp, and then we keep going up. Make sure you're going through the lamp. And once we hit this part right here of the arch, we go to the right until we're about here, and then we go to the camera, not from the camera to that way, but to the camera. So hold down. So right, and then hold down, all while keeping jump pressed in. So we keep going up. Never release it for this one. Then we have the last room. You can just try and hit Voldemort with the yellow spell, which is good for the clouds. Or we can do a quick little debug door, which saves only a bit. We do this by this pillar. Once we're in front of it, not hitting it, we're a bit in front of it, we jump, switch to Grey Lady, and fly this line, just straight forwards, but a bit right because the camera changes. Like that. We just hit the last trigger of this level. I will try and show this in game now. So the entire level is entering this one with one player. I'll do the basic route without the Fang for minimal time save. So I'll go up, fly. I saw I went over the invisible wall and just walk into the gate. Yellow spell, force this. So yellow spell, just attack her. And grab the broomstick and hold my finger on F2 once this cobweb's gone. You'll see the camera pan start and I press F2 to drop player 2 in. And that skips the camera pan. Then we give it, we switch to Lumos and we go back and it just makes it a bit faster. Then we wait a bit until this room ends. If you want to do this out of bounds debug door, you can ask in the Discord, which I'll probably post in the description also. Then we have to jump and switch to Grey Lady really fast, or doesn't really matter, but pretty fast, and hold fully up. And I tap left a bit to keep being in the middle of the room. Okay, I messed up, but nothing to worry about. Okay, I think I'm soft locked. I'll do it with the other player. So yeah, if you do this in a run, it should be pretty easy. Just do this, keep being in the middle, and we just hit the trigger. Player 2 should be doing its thing by being dropped in. We walk both players to the end. Always watch out that you're on Glacius and not normal Wingardium Leviosa, because sometimes that happens. And freeze clip. This one is also pretty tricky one. So let's see if we go through the door, but the door is the thinnest wall, I think, so it's the easiest. All the other walls with the bricks are pretty difficult to go through. So try and actually go through this. I'm trying to explain really in depth, so everyone who tries to run this category doesn't miss any details for actually making this work. This is what you're gonna get in runs. This kind of freeze clips, if you want to get good times, you have to grind them out until you get decent RNG. Am I out? No, I'm not. Yeah, just keep trying. I got out, so I drop out player 2. I switch to Grey Lady, I keep going up. Don't go forwards too fast, but just when you're here, go into the lamp. Keep going up, right, and down. Not too difficult. If you miss it, you can just go back into the lamp. And when I'm right here in front of the pillar shadow, I just go up and switch. Go a straight line. That's this level. Let's go into the next one. Okay, this next level is 5-4, so the one after 5-3 is 5-4. Actually, just a coincidence. This level is pretty difficult, but also really short. We need both players for this level, so drop player 2 in. And then we'll freeze clip by going to the red spell, and Defendo, and doing a freeze clip, clipping player 1 out. This was pretty fast. This wall is really, really bad to clip out of. It's really bad. Once you're out, switch to Grey Lady, drop player 2 out, and just hold up and right. Up, right, and also keep going up with the Grey Lady. So drop player 2 out, keep going up, right. Then we'll get above this room and the camera changes. So the camera does a 180. Now we have to go left, keep going up a bit more with Grey Lady, and go fly past this wall. So I'm fairly up here now. I'm going right there, and the last room of this level is located past this wall. A bit further past this wall, but also a bit higher than this room. So watch out that you don't clip into it, because then you'll have to do it casually. So go up past this. Now we're behind the last room. We fly over and behind. Don't go into this room. It's pretty bad. You have to reset or do casual, as I said before. Then we try to go behind this yellow painting, just touching the wall or just behind the wall, but not through the wall. We go just behind the wall and hit it from left to right. So we try to hit this. There's a box behind this. We try to hit it from left to right. The direction is pretty important. And this level just ends. Pretty short, pretty annoying level. It's a bit difficult. So 5-4, just enter. I'll need player 2 and I'll do a freeze clip. Freeze clip. Let's see what we get. So yeah, if this one just starts shaking away to the left, redo it. Drop out player 2. Go up. If you're not sure you're gonna be above the room to the right here, just start going right from the middle of the wall and not from the bottom. Keep going up for a bit. Now you can just go at the same height. Drop down behind this yellow painting. Go all the way to the front until I'm really close, as you can see, and just go right. That should be the end of this level, pretty fast, but we have a couple more levels to go. There's 24 in total. Okay, next level is 7-2. So we'll enter 7-2. So movie 7 is one down and the second level. Player 2 sometimes gets glitched and selects a token that you haven't bought automatically. Just go to Hermione and press OK. So yeah, for this level we need 2 players in the beginning, so drop player 2 in. Then we'll go down right once we enter this and go fully to the right. So down right, go fully to the right, and you get stuck behind this corner of this chair. There's a chair. So get stuck with player 1 and be perpendicular. So watching that way, perpendicular with the chair on the wall, and do a freeze clip. You try and get out of bounds to the right. Get out of bounds. Switch to Grey Lady. Keep going up. For this one, we keep player 2 dropped in. And just go straight from here. Try and be at the top of this door. Not to the left, not to the right, just on top of this door. And then we'll see the gate that ends this room of the level. We walk into the gate. And we switch back to the red spell from Lumos. And we do another freeze clip through this Lego gate. This is a pretty bad one. You're gonna have to try it a couple times to get through. Then we enter this room. So yeah, we have player 2 dropped in, drop her out, go back to the red spell. That's the first thing we do. Just to reset, and then we stand right. This is like a hexagon. Right here, this platform in the middle. We stand on this corner. We just stand on it and go straight up, not holding forwards, but just jump up. Once we jump, we switch to Grey Lady and we keep going straight up. Just go straight up from the corner. Keep going straight up. And then there's a visual cue that we'll see in a second. Hold on. You saw it? Once we get high enough, we'll see the corner. So let me quickly try and do this. So we see this corner. Once we start seeing black, just hold the right, just hold up on the D-pad and we'll hit this trigger that's right in front of us. Let me start the video again. So we go, this is an auto-scroller, we select Fang, so that's 2 switches to the right of Grey Lady, always. Fang, we just go to the end of the level with Fang. Level just ends. So yeah, the last room is casual. Nothing special. I'll try and show it really quickly, this level. So normally I'll be dropped in with 2 players. And I'll go down right. So go to the red spell with player 1 because we want to do a freeze clip. Do a freeze clip and hopefully get through the wall. Then again, it's just one switch to the right for Grey Lady. Most levels, it's one switch to the right for Grey Lady, which is why I'm so fast at getting Grey Lady and not falling down. Drop out player 2, or keep player 2 in actually. I made a small mistake. Keep going forwards. Then we enter this room. And we just try and freeze clip through this gate. Not next to it, like right in the middle. That's too far to the left, yeah. Right in the middle. Drop player 2 out. And you have to keep moving upwards. Once we see the black, we react and go. We move forwards. Then we go with Fang all the way to the end. I'm not gonna show it, it's pretty boring. That's this level. Okay, next level is 6-3. So we go to movie 6, level 3. I have the glitched player 2 again, so I move to Hermione and select her. And we just load in as usual. Then we get into this room. We're gonna try to clip through this door right here. It's still open, but it will close with the washing machine in a sec. Then we clip through with the freeze clip, try and push the freeze clipped player with the freeze clipping player. So with a non-iced player, just push to the right, and the washing machine will get him stuck into this corner. So we'll push him into this corner and he'll just clip through. Pretty easy. Shouldn't be too difficult of a freeze clip. Pretty easy to do with some decent FPS. Then we drop out player 2. We Grey Lady fly to the right around this house. We want to get past this fire. Past this fire right here. With the invisible wall. Get over it. And then just walk forwards right here where I am. Just walk forwards, it ends the room. Then we Grey Lady fly upright. Over all the wheat. And then we just go to Fang for faster movement speed. And we flew over the puzzle parts in the beginning. And just walk to the end of the level right here. Or the end of this room. Then there's a setup for hitting this trigger in the air. It skips this really long boss fight. So there's 3 patches of wheat that's in front of this. That's like pretty much in front. You want to stand in front of this furthest in front one. So the most left of these 3. Just stand in front of it and line up with this small white speck in the pool. So in the middle of this river, in the middle, there's a bit of like white water foam. You want to stand on the right side of it. So with this wheat and this foam, boom, you want to stand right there. And then we'll just fly straight up with Grey Lady flying, just straight up all the way. Until we stop right here, because we see this bright cloud. Yeah, that bright cloud. Once this little part right here, so this closes in and there's a little speck in the middle. Once that is cut off, right there, we just go to the left. We tap left on our D-pad while keeping the same height. So don't drop, don't go up, keep the same height and go left. You can see that this little part in the middle, you just want to make it that touches the bottom of your screen, this part. So yeah, this is like connected with this part and there's this pieces. You want to cut it right there. So it kind of shows legs of this cloud. You'll see it in game. So yeah, we see the kind of legs right here, and we go to the left. I miss it in this run, so I go back. I line up here again. You'll see it in game if once you try and do it. I'll go up, cut off this cloud, and then go to the left. Not too difficult, pretty easy. I'll show it pretty quickly in game. It doesn't really have to be shown as much as the first couple levels. Once you are comfortable with this tech, and once we get into the later levels, it's pretty easy, and I'll probably just show the record video without doing it in game afterwards. So yeah, you can also freeze clip with P2 here if you want. Not with Ron, because he has a special Lumos thingy which doesn't let you go onto Lumos, so freeze clipping doesn't work on him. But yeah, the gist of it is just freeze clip, drop out player 2, switch, fly over. So yeah, here's an invisible wall. I fly over it and I just go forwards. And it's level. Then I fly over this bush and over this boat basically, but I cut the corner in the record. It's 2 switches to the right for Fang if you want a bit of faster movement speed. You can also just go 1 switch to the left to get Harry back on the player. So this wheat, this one, we just go in front of. On this white speck, we stand a bit to the... we just stand right here in the middle of the river. We go up. Then we look at the cloud bottom right. This is not good. This is good. And we go to the left. That's this level. Let's go to the next one. Next level is 8-4. We go to movie 8, 4th level. And we just go into it. Nothing special. Loading screen. And then once we load in, we want to go Grey Lady fly to the right. Keep following the room to the right. Go over the invisible walls. And right here is the end of the room. Behind these knights, in any percent, we just do a camera pan to get these knights away, and we walk into this door. In free play, we will land on top of this door and get to the right behind of it, so we get over this invisible wall. There's also invisible wall to the left that faces a bit right like that. We get stuck. This knight statue, we go in front of it and we push into the wall until we get it behind it, and we'll just hit the trigger. Then we load into the second room. We do a Grey Lady fly over the invisible wall behind us, and then we just line up our player icon or just go straight on the right side of this big metal thingy and these balloons. We just fly straight forwards and we hit the second trigger. Pretty easy, pretty big trigger, so you can't really miss it. This room, we Grey Lady fly all the way to the top. We don't have to climb to the top, we just go to the top. Small note is, at the end, this is blocked off by an invisible wall. Walk over it, behind it, and then go back forwards towards the camera, so we can actually fall into the trigger, otherwise you fall behind it. This room is a bit of a special one, because it's fully boxed in by invisible walls, so we'll actually fix this plane, get on top of it, and immediately drop in player 2 to do a camera pan skip, and drop him back out. So we get control over when we jump off this plane. To drop in, drop out. We don't have the camera pan anymore, and once we're right there, we jump off the plane. This makes it so we're out of bounds, or we went out of bounds actually, we're behind the wall. We fall down, and something I do here is switch to the other player and try and switch back. Once we're switched back, this switching actually resets our respawn point below the ground. So then we actually jump into the fire that's all the way on the room. So we just jump back into the fire. I will get respawned at 000, which is under the room in the middle of it. We need to have Grey Lady. Then we drop down a bit. We go forwards all the way to the back of the room and a bit right. This bit right is on purpose. Because if we go straight and then at the end of the level we go back up to the height of the trigger, just so we're fully behind the level, behind the big box we're trying to get. If we do it straight, we'll get a couch that is just in the camera, so we can't really see anything. So go a bit to the right. So we'll see a bit to the right, go further. Then once the camera stops, we can start holding, can start going upwards with Grey Lady. So fly up. And because we need to keep the same height under the floor at the whole time, and then we fly up. Once we're behind the box, we go under the box, and then we go over the box, basically, or we go next to it. And then we have this, like, wooden pallets shaped like this. There's a couple more here. We want to get in front of them by flying back in front a bit, so towards the camera. And then we just want to be, like, this much above it. Just this much above it and fly back. The trigger is somewhere in front and above these pallets. This is my visual cue. So you'll see I'll just fly. And I keep my character in front and above these pallets and then fly back into the camera. So yeah, I'll quickly show that in game. Go into 8.4. And then we'll do room 1 first. We'll go to the right, jump, switch to Grey Lady, fly over this invisible wall. We'll fly over this wall because there's a big bookcase, so fly over this. Go back, so we land on top of this invisible wall and behind it to the right. And you'll see I'm in front of this knight statue and it just go back a bit and wiggle. We'll just hit it. For this one, we fly over and then just line up like this, go back and keep the same height. A bit more upwards. Okay. For this one, we just fly to the end of the level. To the normal end, we go behind the wall and go back on top of it. On top of the normal end. Fly to this end. Then we'll just fix the plane. So we'll jump on and off of it with Y or triangle. Drop in, not too fast, but once you're fully seated. Now we drop in, we drop out. Then once we're left, switch, jump into the fire, switch to Grey Lady, go a bit right, just fall down a bit first, then keep the same height and go a bit right and keep going forwards. Camera stops, we fly up and keep going forwards a bit more. If we fly up too soon, we'll die to the fire again. So this pallet, you see I'm clipping through it, just going front, a bit higher, and try and hit the trigger. That's as easy as it gets now. Okay, next level is 7-1. So the first level of movie 7. This level also has a cutscene before it starts. Most levels don't, so don't forget to skip this cutscene actually. Then we'll go to the left of this room and just leave it. Then we'll Grey Lady fly above this glass house or whatever. Then go to the right over the invisible room and we keep being above this roof. And you'll see that this like shadow. This setup is really tricky there isn't really a setup is the thing. So we'll try to keep being a bit above the shadow and go hit the trigger going to the left. You'll need to adjust your camera position, like your position towards and away from the camera, and your height from the roof, because the first room is actually under this. It's still loaded in. The first room is still here that we just left to the left. We flew over. Now we're on top of the first room, and the trigger is above this shadow. You can clearly see this shadow, but this is something you'll need to get a feel for this trigger. Then we fly up in this next room, and we fly out of this bubble. Most of this bubble is solid, but the entire top part isn't, so we fly over the invisible wall. And then there's a light spot right here. In the middle of the light spot, we jump switch quickly, and we keep holding right. We keep holding right. And that means, so we jump and switch to Grey Lady and go up and right, and we'll just start flying like this. And the trigger is right here, so we'll fly into it. As long as we're in the middle of this light spot and we do this, it should work. Like that. Then this is an auto-scroller. Drop in player 2, just hit the mentors a bit for a lot of stats. And just go to the end of the auto-scroller. Pretty easy. Skip the cutscene. We get into this room. We just want to freeze clip through this door. Should be pretty self-explanatory now, once you know freeze clips. I do this freeze clip on player 2, because player 2 spawns closer to the door, so that's just a bit faster. We get into this next room. We drop out player 2, because we don't need her. And then we fly over the invisible wall at the back. So we're behind this level. We go to the right. And once we see the birthday cake, or the wedding cake, we go behind this. It's a pretty big trigger, so we go behind this curtain. We go in front of the fire, and then we just walk back behind the fire, and you should just hit the trigger like that. That's the level. This one I'll still show in game, because it can be a pretty tricky one with the first debug door, the first trigger, because there's no real setup. The last two rooms I'm not gonna play, and the auto-scroller I'll just do the first two, because the last two rooms and the auto-scroller should be pretty easy. So we go to the left, that room is still loaded in actually, you can see it. We go over this glass house, and we're on top of the roof now. So this big shadow in the middle, we want to be above it a bit. And then just go right to left, right to left, right to left, and make your position a bit different. So yeah, we can't fly out of this. A bit higher we can. This light spot right here, stand in it. Just like jump switch, like that. And go right. That's it. This level should be explained enough, and we'll go into the next one. Okay, this level is 8-3, so 8-3. Over 8, level 3. Load. Skip the loading screen. Once we load in, we do a fly. We just fly with Grey Lady to the end of the level, the end of this room. Just fly over this. It's a big long hallway. So this wall to the right should mark the end of the level. Fall down. You can do a camera pan skip, it's not needed, but just fall down behind this fire and walk towards the door. Towards Grey Lady. Then we should have player 2 dropped in, or drop him in, or in this room. We'll need him in the next room. Just Grey Lady fly again, and follow this bridge all the way to the right. Just keep on following it. Once we get fully to the right of the bridge, it should be a wall. Once we see this wall, we drop down. We keep being behind the wall, and this torch, you want to be behind it a bit on the top side and just go right into the trigger right here. But the thing is, we need to be pretty close to the wall, a bit behind it. Not super close to the wall, but a bit close. Like that. So it's... Okay, the trigger is a bit more left than I threw, so watch out for that. And in this room, we walk both players, because player 2 was dropped in, to the right. Make sure the player is on Glacius. The other player will get on the red spell, and we'll do a freeze clip. So freeze clip through this vault, through the door. It's just the normal end to this room, but we'll skip the entire puzzle by not opening it. Then we drop out player 2. We fly to the right of this room, and then we'll have to do a bit of a setup to hit the trigger. We come back down, and you'll see this like foot, the foot bone lying here. We go stand to the right of it, to the right of this point of this bone. Just stand to the right of it, like that, touching the bone. Go up with Grey straight up until we're above this line where the dark part begins again from the archway. So we should be rising up with this stone. We should be a bit right of it. And then we go up, we tap right, or we go slightly right, and we drop back down with Harry. And we'll just fall into the trigger. The trigger is right here. So we go up, we go a bit right, and then we fall into it with Harry. Pretty easy. If you miss it, just redo it, stand next to the bone, only takes 5 seconds extra. This level I'm not gonna play, I'm just gonna show the record and just tell the details. From now on, you should be able to know what to do as long as I tell it and mark the setups, just say the setups. Now we're going to 6-6, the last level of the second movie in this game. So this one is a bit special. We need both players, and in the first room we do a freeze clip. Just like in a whole lot of other rooms, we just freeze clip through this door. So walk to the end and freeze clip. Then we walk with one player, so player 1. We drop with player 2. We can fly over this gap. Right here, there's a gap. Just fly over with Grey Lady and keep going right. And I'll delete that. Go to the right, drop out player 2. And we'll do this room casually, because it doesn't save time to do it any other different way. Pull this out with fast magic, and you need to be Harry for this room, for this seal. Do the puzzle, not too difficult. The broom will fly out, and just clean the dust off the buttons, of the light buttons. Once this is cleaned and the coins show up, the camera pan will start. Wait till you see the camera move and drop in with player 2 to do a camera pan skip. So right here, I skip the camera pan. Once this line in the middle shows up, you're clear to drop out again with player 2. This hasn't shown up, then you're dropping out too fast and you cannot press the dropout button. Drop out. You'll see it will be red. This one will light up, so we have to stand on top of it. And then you jump back off and another camera pan will start, but we can negate it by dropping back in. Right here, we drop back in, we drop back out. Then it will be yellow, green. This is always the same, by the way. Camera pan skip, drop out. Blue, red, yellow. Press the buttons, jump back, boom, and then do a camera pan skip. For this last one, you don't have to drop back out, or do the camera pan skip actually. because this is the last one, so you can just immediately walk, jump into the boat, and the room will end. That's the first room, the second room. It's a bit of an annoying room. Just try to hit the camera pan skips. That's about it. Next room. We stand on top of this green little box. We stand on the down left corner. Just stand on it and go straight up with Grey Lady flying. Then, once your head goes above this peak, there's a peak on the stone. Once your head starts poking a bit above it, then you start going forward on the same height. So release jump and like time it again a bit to keep going forward at the same height. The trigger's pretty close, but still focus on keeping the same height and not going any higher or lower. So yeah, like that. Last room. Pretty tricky one, this one. So we just walk, we fly over this fire, and we walk again up for a bit. So just go to the upper, to the most right part of this room. Then we walk in between this basket right here and this door with the archway. There's like a little space between it. Just stand in between it. And then, right there, I jump switch and keep going up with the Grey Lady. And I also hold straight right, D-pad right, to push into this big invisible wall right here. And so I keep pushing against this. And I keep going up, straight up. Just straight up. And keep pushing to the right. Once you're over the wall, you can see I'm over the wall right here. I stop, I go left a bit because the wall's right here. I need to go over it and I go left a bit and I need to be like slightly into the wall just behind it. But if I'm to the left again, I need to fly over again. So I need to do the entire setup again. So watch out with going to the left. I drop back down while I'm touching the wall basically. And this bright cloud in the middle, once you're right above it, the trigger's right here. It's like on the foot of it. So you just go right. Once you're right above this white cloud with the other setup, with the rest of the setup, you should be just next to the wall, dropping, and then we go right. Boom, we hit the trigger. That's the end of this level. I don't think it's worth playing the level right now, because it should be pretty clear what to do. Then we go into 8-5, so the second to last level. This is a pretty short one. One thing to note is that we only have one player dropped in, and in the beginning of this room, we have to wait 1 second, then a camera pan will play, and we have to skip it with dropping in player 2. So wait a second. Let's actually skip this loading screen. Wait a second, the camera pan will start dropping player 2 and just drop back out once the line, or once you're able to drop back out. This skips a pretty long camera pan, so that's really good to do. Grey Lady fly all the way to the end of the level. Just over this wall, Grey Lady flying. Keep on going. To the end of the level, take it as straight as possible line. And then we go over the invisible walls right here. The invisible wall ends about here or here in the window of this building. Now we drop down, and there's basically, this is the end door, the end of this room. There's a invisible platform right here. If you land on top of it, just go like behind it, or on the side of it, and land on the floor right here. There's a bit of floor, a little bit, but you have to land on it with Grey Lady, and we switch to set a respawn point right here on this part of the floor, and we drop back behind it with Grey Lady. We go under the floor and we fly a bit to the right and down. We just fall down a bit and sometimes press jump to not fall down too far and a bit right. And then we'll fall out of bounds and fall rescue will grab us to place us back where our last respawn point was, which is behind the door, which will make it so that we fly from in front of the door to behind of the door, which makes us just go through the door. So as you saw right there, I go through the door, which just makes us go through the door, which ends this room. Pretty cool. A bit of a unique skip. Then we just Grey Lady fly over this water, and we go through this part. We fall down onto the floor behind the level, and we just walk straight from the middle of this level. Then we go into 7-6. This level had a pretty cool skip found recently, which makes this level 10 times more consistent, so you don't lose half a minute on average. There was a really bad freeze clip, but we will do something unique again. It's called a stored super jump. So first of all, with the orange spell, we'll break this and set the student in peril free, this guy. We'll set him free because we need this object to do this super jump. We walk to the middle of the room, and I'll explain pretty fast, but just follow what I'm saying and it should work. We drop off, not jump, just walk off, switch, and switch back. And then Harry does this little animation where he like falls and takes a second to step back up, which means we have a super jump. So we can use this to jump on top of these two knobs, just like slide down, and if you buffer a jump by just holding the jump button while you're in the air, you'll jump again. We'll try to get on top of this object. You have to jump on the knobs because the top is too far and this is sliding collision in between. So just jump on top of it, switch again and switch back. So we'll, on the right we switched and switched, now we switch again, switch back, and Harry will do another weird looking jump, but he will end up out of bounds. Then we switch to Grey Lady because we're out of bounds, so we can just fly. Make sure to keep the camera in the same position right now. And we go behind, we just fly behind this big pillar. You see these stones. I will just position right here. And we'll go to the right to hit the trigger that's right here. The thing is, the distance from the wall to the trigger is a bit hard to see. But as you can see, you can try multiple times by just swirling around until you hit the trigger going that way. Then there's another room. This room, we Grey Lady fly again. And we go towards the camera and we just scoop around the front of this room and go under it. Just fall in front of it. So go to the invisible wall, fall in front of it. We go under the floor. We want to be a bit down on the floor, and we also want to make sure that these middle two planks, how do I draw this? Like this. You want to be on the right of it, going forwards and a bit under the floor. It, like, yeah, a couple decimeters. And make sure you're on the right. Otherwise, there's a trigger right here, I think. If you hit this one, the room will just reload and you have to do this same thing exactly again. As you can see, I just hit the trigger. Pretty cool, pretty short level now, and pretty consistent with the super jump. Next level is 5-6. So the last level of this first movie. This is also a really unique one. This one I'll play because in this level there's the one big difference between restricted and unrestricted. in this video, I'm playing restricted, but if you want to see the unrestricted route, I'll also explain. This is the one difference between the two categories, and you need a pretty good PC to play unrestricted. This first room, we walk to the right. I do it with Fang for a bit of time save. And we Lady Fry once we hit the end of that cart. So the end of this cart, we just Lady Fly and go up. Over the invisible wall to the right, it's a pretty small one, and we just walk behind it. We'll drop in player 2. Because something we want to do right now is die with both players, but wait a couple seconds in between. So these big things are falling. They keep falling this way. We want to kill the first player, and don't walk with the second player into it. Just keep standing right there. You die, you die. What this does is skip this part of the autoscroller. You see I got teleported. If both players die a couple seconds apart of each other, the game just progresses you forwards without having to walk all the way. Then we walk to the end of this little part and we do it again. It's just like the intermission part. This part is the intermission part between the two falling autoscrollers. So we do the exact same thing. So stop, kill one player, kill the second player, and this room just ends. It just stops and it goes to the next room. We drop out player 2, and we Lady Fly to the left of this room. Then we see this big portal with the dead people, and we want to just fly, keep holding up, and just fly against this part. And keep holding this direction. And then once you start flying above it, you like keep pushing into this, you fly above it, and you'll just hit the trigger automatically. Like this. I didn't fly against it this time, but the trigger's just right above the right part of the portal. Then there's this boss fight. For unrestricted, I'll quickly explain what's happening. So we do this mashing part. I'll skip through this a bit. We place the second player. You can drop him in, you can push him, you can switch, doesn't matter. But you need to drop him back out or whatever. You just want to place the second player right here, because we want to skip a cycle of this snake. We want to skip a cycle of him throwing fire at us, which saves around 20 seconds to half a minute. Pretty easy. You want to just place him close to this valve, because the snake spits fire. Yeah, you can just hold this wheel to get invincibility, which is a thing in this game. Just you can't move or get hit once you have that up. The snake stops spitting fire. He slams his head, and you want to build these pieces as fast as possible. There's like pieces that drop behind this. You want to build them as fast as possible, and it will form this shower right there. You want to walk over to this valve and turn it with Wingardium Leviosa. You only need to stand about right here, and you can just force it. Because we place the second player right there, it will also start forcing the valve really quickly, and as long as the snake hasn't tilted his head up again, he will just get hit by the water and die. So like that, quickly do it, and like you see, I was within the time, and he just dies. If you take too long with this, you have to wait another cycle. Then we walk up, and we force this water ball on Voldemort, just a casual way. Then we'll do another mashing. And for restricted, we'll just keep playing the boss fight like normal. We just do nothing. We drop in the other player. And we wait for Voldemort to hit us with the glass. And then he'll hit us with the glass on this big shield. So 1P2C, you have one player in front, Harry in the back. The glass will hit this big force field. We'll drop pieces to the back, and you just want to build them. and throw him at Voldemort. That's just an in-game mechanic. You should know this, how to throw. You can also release it a bit early. If you see the object is spinning fast enough, you can just release it and it will fly to Voldemort without having to wait another second for the object to keep speeding up. You do this, I stand in front a bit, then once the piece is hidden me, I move to the back. That's something I do because the pieces don't explode to every single side. Sometimes if you stand in the back, the pieces explode everywhere. Just make it a bit more consistent. You do this 3 times to take off his last 3 hearts, and then he just dies, and that's this level. Okay, this is a quick explanation of this tip that we do in Unrestricted. I'm gonna show it with the Unrestricted world record because my PC can't do it consistently. So once we get past this snake fight, we drop in both players with Harry Potter on player 1. And we walk all the way into this corner, this right here, and we're gonna try to do a freeze clip into this little ledge. Once we get into this little ledge, if we freeze clip into it, if we have enough FPS, which is a requirement, having a decent PC, we'll just get shot up. Then we move off Lumos just to stop our freeze clip, so we get out of the ice cube and we can start moving freely in the air. And we're gonna do something called pause flying. Pause flying is performed by just pausing repeatedly, and if you have over 1.2 thousand FPS in the pause screen, your height when dropping will stop. Every time you pause and unpause, your momentum gets reset, which we can use to go to the right. So let me see when he gets the launch. So we'll try to freeze clip to the left into the ledge so we can fly up like that. And once we get a good one, we drop player 2 out and we switch off Lumos. We'll fly into the air and move a bit to the right. And you see if he pauses and unpauses, his momentum gets stopped. Then we're trying to aim for, you see these long windows. Just try to aim for what Seed aims for. So the second window, kind of. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the left. There's another one to the right. So the second from the right or the fifth from the left. We try to just go in front of this highest window, like in front of it, towards the camera, and a bit to the left. Kind of more between this one and the one to the right. And if we go away from the camera, that's the way we want to hit this trigger, which just ends the level. This is a pretty quick explanation. I'm not gonna go into too much detail. If you want to know more, or if it doesn't work, you can ask in the Discord. Up next is level 501. We enter with 1 player optimally, because at the start we will immediately start flying upwards. We skip the cutscene. We switch twice and we go all the way over this invisible wall, over this gate. So that's a quick start. Keep flying and go upwards a bit more because there is a second invisible wall you want to go over. And then you're trying to go above this highway and drop out and drop back into the level right here. So you can actually go through the roof, clip back into the level, and just go in the passage to enter the first room. The second room we're gonna switch, and we're gonna get on the spell Expecto Patronum, and we're gonna shoot 2 of these Dementors. Just shoot them, and that will cause the Dementors to try and suck your soul. which just ends this room. Pretty short. Then we have a big auto-scroller, so I'm gonna skip through this. You just do whatever you want. You can even just let go of the controller, skip the cutscene, and go upright, fly upright. The thing I'm gonna be aiming for, because there's a setup we're gonna do to hit an invisible debug door right now. The thing I'm aiming for is about this line. So a bit to the left of this peak in the tree. Of those leaves. You can also kind of see a lantern. I don't know what this is. Wait, I'm on the wrong setting. There's gonna be like a lantern right here, which you just want to be a bit to the right of. This is not the most beautiful drawing, but you'll see when I show it in game. So then I wanna show something. So I wanna fly over this invisible wall here. I wanna hold up or up with the joystick. And I wanna hold jump in. Whenever I go above the wall, I always want to keep holding up. I want to hold jump for a bit longer and then switch. Don't immediately switch off Grey Lady once you get over the invisible wall, but wait like a couple milliseconds to switch off her. So you see, I hit the wall, I go over, then I switch. So I take my time, I will just fall into the trigger. Right here you can try a camera pan skip by spamming the drop-in button. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't really matter, but it saves a couple seconds whenever you get it. You have to spam drop-in, so you drop in on the first frame this room loads in, which skips the camera pan. Then this room's pretty simple. You fly over to the right, just go over any invisible walls, and try and take in a straight possible line right to above this gate. You want to fly over this invisible wall that's above the gate is pretty tall, so don't be afraid to go a bit higher and a bit further and then fall back next to the gate and walk towards the gate and walk away from the gate so you can just trigger the normal door, the normal end room trigger. In this room there's a debug door right here behind this wall, but it's not activated. So what we're gonna try to do is give the frog to this wizard, and then the door gets activated whenever this paper airplane in the air flies around and hits this block. So what we want to do is pretty easy. This looks complicated, but we want to give the frog to the wizard, wait a second, and then clip through this wall. So we just end the level, which saves a couple seconds. We need Arthur Weasley to fix this door. So just fix it casually. And we want to actually get on the red spell. So we can do a freeze clip at the end. And also, when we're giving the frog, don't forget to switch to Lumos and switch back off Lumos. You can't really see this, but switch to Lumos, switch back off Lumos to the red spell, Defendo. Or whatever. So yeah. Then you want to force this little briefcase. The frog will drop. You want to give it. You want to give it right here. You want to do the little animation skip, and you want to drop in player 2 because the camera pan will start right after. So see, I drop in player 2, and after I dropped in player 2, I switch onto Lumos and off Lumos. You can see the animation starting for Lumos. So I give the frog, and then I just freeze clip the player 1 to the left of this wall, preferably. But to be sure, I always wait a second or 2 seconds to make sure the door's loaded in, and player 2 will automatically be on the glaciers. And that's this level. I'll show it in game right now. -1. So skip the cutscene, jump, switch twice to the right. Hold X or A on Xbox. Fly over. Just watch out with getting stuck on this railing, by the way. You want to go over it. Then just drop and go into this door. Switch to Expecto Patronum, shoot these two. And then the auto scroller starts. I'll try to speed this up. Okay, we're at the end of the auto scroller now. Skip the cutscene and start flying. So this lantern, I want to be a bit to the right of it. I also want to be a bit to the right of this leaf that I'm standing on. This point, I want to be a bit to the right of it, I think. So hold up and just fall into the trigger. If you spam hard enough, sometimes you get it, like I did right here. So before we saw a camera pan at the beginning of the level, now I can just immediately start walking. Then I drop player 2 back out because I don't need him. Just take a straight line to this gate. So yeah, this wall above this gate is pretty huge. Go pretty high. And walk back to this gate and walk away. Add on Arthur. And fix this. I switch to the rat spell. Stand in this corner and force this briefcase. So yeah. Give the frog, drop in, Lumos off Lumos. And a freeze clip. Level ends, and that's it for this level. On to the next. Now we're continuing with 5-2. Pretty short level, has a couple of freeze clips. This is one unique thing about this level. When we spawn in, we need to get both players, player 1 and 2, to the end, both of them. So what we're gonna do is hold upright on both of them. So upright, so you can see right here, and upright right here. Then we want to switch with player 1 once to the right, just to get to Grey Lady, and player 2 will need 2 switches to the right, so 2 of these on player 2, whatever you have your bind of player 2 on. And you just want to hold, jump. Whenever you go into this river, whenever you get past this ledge, we will be in the air, so it'll start flying automatically. And there's a big invisible wall right here on the other side of the river, and just push into this corner right there until you fly over. So we get both players in the air, we push against this corner, and we keep on flying upright and maybe adjust a couple times. Then we want to switch to the left with both players, so we get Harry on both of them. We want to switch player 1 to the Defendo next to Lumos, and player 2 is gonna be on Wingardium Leviosa, so we need to hold the spell wheel to switch back to Glacius. So right there you saw I pulled it up really quickly and it switched to Glacius. Then we do freeze clip through the door. And then we do a freeze clip through this bookcase. Once we're through, we switch to Grey Lady, we drop out player 2. Pretty standard procedures. And we fly along this beam. So these two logs on the wall, we want to fly in between those. Just fly towards the camera a bit. Just above the logs, just above the roof. And whenever you see this gets like really dark, like about here, this gets really dark, you want to hold up. You want to go a bit more towards here, and then you want to turn around and go. That's a pretty bad arrow. You want to follow this path between the logs back. So you'll see I'll start going upwards and I turn around. Because you have to hit the door in the different direction. You got a feel for this, it's not too difficult. This level I'll probably show in game pretty quickly. Especially for the end trigger and the very start. So normally we have both players dropped in already from the previous level. So one switch to the right, hold upright, and hold jump. And with Hermione we switched should be 2 times to the right, like that. Okay, I'm gonna wait. I'll try to regroup my players so it's a bit easier to manage the 1P2C. Switch to the left. Boom. Red spell. Hold this character wheel. We have Glacius. Just post up against this pipe. And start clipping. Push a bit to keep him at the wall. And he'll go through. This bookcase. We're through. We drop out. We switch to Grey Lady. And just follow this line. Right here you see it gets darker, so when I'm approaching, it gets darker, I'll try to hold up and turn around. But it's easier when you do it in one motion. Okay, maybe I haven't practiced in a while, but right there. Next level is 5-5. Pretty easy level, nothing to actually explain or show almost. So in this first room, we'll spawn in and we'll go to the right. And we would just want to stand on this left side of this big circle right here on the ground. Stand on this left side, so right here. Then fly up. Then, when she gets out of camera view, behind this parasol or whatever, there's a really big debug door up here. So whenever you lose sight of her, wait 1 more second and just go forwards. Really easy room. So left side, go up, you don't see her, and move forwards. In the second room, we just want to go to Grey Lady and fly over the room. So follow a path around this tree and go around that tree. And then just fall behind the plants to the end of the level. Drop in player 2. And now we want to destroy some plants, because this room, we can only finish it by doing it casually. Player 1 is going to start destroying all these mushrooms, plants, more mushrooms, more mushrooms, more mushrooms. And then this mushroom, this plant, so everything almost. This bush is not required, this mushroom is not required. There's also a couple other ones that are not required, but I'm not sure which ones are required or not, so try to break all of these. With player 2, we're gonna walk up left and we're just gonna force this plant right here. We want to force that. Once we've broken all this in front and these two in the back and forced this, we got some parts for repairing the vehicle. So all the parts should be freed and we can just force them to make the vehicle. Drop out player 2, and now we want to ring the bell, go to the 3 light points. And then whenever the camera pan starts, do a camera pan skip. So drop in right here, drop out, and do another one. It's 2 back to back, but don't drop out now. We can go ahead with player 2 and break this plant right here. There's a big plant in the way, and it does damage, so don't go too close, stay behind here. And want to hit him 2 times. So once you're here, you want to shoot him. Once you're here, you want to shoot him again. And then just get out of the way with player 2. Because whenever you drive against player 2, will fall flat to the ground and the cart will get stuck. And just ring the bell to lure the brother of Hagrid over. So there's a light pad in front of him here, there's a light pad here, whenever he's ready, and now you wanna ring here. And that's this level. I'm not gonna go in game for this because it's really easy. First room, big trigger, so just fly up a bit. Second room, fly over it. Third room, casual with some 1P2C and some camera pan skips. Next level is 6-1. So we're gonna load into this level. Let me skip the start. With player 1, I haven't dropped out player 2 because I need him. Just fly to the right, straight to right. We want to fly behind this house, inside of it, and in the middle, we just want to get behind the door. This is what you want to get in room 1. So just fly to the straight right and drop down here. Just go in front of the door and go back. Right now you can do casual or a freeze clip, which I found a setup for, so it makes it pretty consistent. You want to clip through this front part in front of these books, because there's like a stack of books right here. Just freeze clip in front. Then drop out player 2. And with player 1, we want to go above this roof. So follow this roof, and we want to just, whenever we're really close to the roof and we go that way, we just pull the camera with us. And once the camera is behind the door in the middle of the room, you want to just go besides it. And there's a lamp right here we're gonna get behind. Like, it's like a repairable lamp. This is bright, you know? Get behind it. And you just want to line up with this head of the lamp, just be above it. And go straight forwards. And keep the same height by rhythmically... Oh, never mind. By tapping jump on the rhythm. This last room, we just need player 2. So player 2 is going to be on Glacius, and we're just going to clip player 1 through this door. Once we're through this door, there's another wall we need to clip through, but we don't want to leave Glacius or something. So in this one, it's not pretty obvious, because this door has collision. You want to clip behind it. And then there's another wall behind this door where you also want to clip through. So just keep being in Glacius and freeze clipping state and keep going through the wall. This one I will show in game. So 6-1 is right here. I'll drop in player 2 immediately because normally we haven't dropped in. So jump, switch, go to the right. And you'll see this house in the middle. Go down. And just enter this. You want to clip right here. This clip can be pretty bad, but it depends. Like right here I got pretty lucky. With a good PC, this one's better. Want to go just above this roof. Keep the same height. Pull the camera like right behind this door. And you want to line up right here. Above this lamp head. And just go straight. That's pretty easy. Drop in player 2. Player 1 is going to switch to the left to Harry. And going to be on the Defendo spell. Player 2 will still be on Glacius. And just freeze clip him. So we need to clip through 2 thin walls. Right back to back. That's the first one and the second one. Okay. Next level is 6-2. So the next level. Just behind 6-1. This level is pretty easy. It's pretty quick. In the first room, we're just gonna fly towards the camera and go over the wall that's in front of the camera. So go over this invisible wall, go down, and just re-enter the room. And now we want to get a trigger that's right here. It's like a box. You want to hit it going this way. But there's also an invisible wall right here that keeps you in the level. So we need to get between this box that we want to hit this way and this invisible wall. If we go too far, if we go past this chair and past this table, we're back in bounds, so we have to fly over the invisible wall again. So slowly go in this chair and then go right. For this one, we want to Grey Lady fly. In the level 6-4, we did this exact out of bounds with this pillar. And then we want to go to the middle of the room, where you see this arch and this light. You just want to hit it from right to left. There's a debug door in front of this light. You want to be on the good height. So you want to see your character and go just in front of that arch piece. This room is really, really quick. When you spawn in, Grey Lady fly a bit upwards and back against this invisible wall right here. That's right here. Just Grey Lady fly against it. And whenever you get the height of this chandelier, just go forwards. The trigger is above your head whenever you spawn in. You're gonna see I miss it here, but go against the wall and just go forwards. Really easy trigger. Probably the shortest room in the game. That level I'm not gonna go in game for because it's pretty easy to see whenever you're in game. This one is also a pretty easy one. So 6-5 is now. You want to fly, and this wall extends more. There's a corner, so a corner like this. We want to fly into it. Then whenever we get over, switch and fall back down right beside it, and next to this door, you can just hit the door from out of bounds. So just go forwards. Fall down, hit the door. Then Grey Lady fly to skip this first room, and you'll trigger the second room by just walking further to spawn here. And you want to get on this rock, on this side of the rock, so this part. I want to fly straight up. Straight upwards. Now, this is going to be a bit of a difficult part. You see these leaves on the tree, so these two trees have all these leaves. The right one doesn't matter, but in this one, we're going to line up with the tree. So, whenever we get this height, we're going to start going forwards and maintaining our height. Don't go up, don't go down by spamming jump. The thing about this is this visual cue is this big leaf, and this big leaf. Whenever we get that height, we need to stop. And then the leaves get a lot smaller right here. So the visual cue is just finding out which layer of leaves you need to stop and then keeping the same height and going forwards. So these are really big, these leaves. Then these are like medium, and these are really small. So you want to get on the medium height with your head. So you want to line up your head right here, this. And want to go forwards with the same height. You kind of just want to follow this layer of leaves, just go towards it. So you see I kind of aim to go for those leaves. That's this level. Next level is 7-4. I'm also not going to go in game for this, just purely because I don't want to play the entire underwater section. So we enter with one player, we force this thing on the right. And we want to get all the way on the ground. We want to touch the ground. So the second player also goes touch the ground. Whenever we force this, the camera pan starts. Just try to drop in to do a camera pan skip. Pretty easy. Then drop out and make sure you touch the ground. If you don't touch the ground, you cannot drop in. So we're going to do a lot of camera pan skips here just to get time save because we can't skip this section. So make sure player 2 touches the ground, drop back out, force this shark. This is a really long one. Then when the camera pan starts, drop back in to skip the camera pan. And now with both players, we want to go to the next part. So force those leaves. One goes on top, one goes on the bottom. The one on the bottom wants to force this rock right here. So this goes up, and we can get player 1 here. Make sure this is player 1 on top. So you see, we get past it. Then first, before we force this and make the crab break this ice so we can move on with the level, make sure you touch the ground again and drop out. So then we do the camera pan and we can skip it by dropping in, then we drop back out. So now this crab is gonna destroy the ice without the camera following it, so we can already move on. And the collision is really bad in this level, so don't worry about it. If you bump into everything, then you want to force this hook. Just want to wait out this camera pan. Skeleton will fall. We're gonna force the bones of the skeleton. I'm gonna get the pickaxe. And we want to just hover above these purple points, and whenever the hammer starts going up and swinging, and then back down, don't move with the pickaxe. Otherwise, it's gonna go off the hitbox again. So stop moving, right there, and right there. That's this first part. So the main thing is camera pans by touching the ground. Second room, walk all the way to this box right here, and stand besides it. You want to stand here. This is important. You want to stand in front of the shadow by a bit. So a bit in front of the shadow, next to the box, touching it. Then you want to fly up, straight upwards, without moving forwards. And whenever you see this branch on the right is going to be lined up with your arm. Whenever your arm is above it, you just want to go forwards. And you'll hit the trigger automatically. Like that. It's a pretty easy room 2, and room 1 is just fast casual with a couple struts. Now it's 7-5. For 7-5, there's also a cutscene before the level starts, so don't forget to skip it. We want to fly over the house. And then we're over the invisible wall, we fall back down, and we get under these stairs without clipping back in bounds. And there's an invisible wall at the back of these stairs also, right here. So, right there. You want to push against it. So, push against it, and then you want to drop down. And you'll push against it, drop down, and then you'll like go under it. And the trigger's right under there. You see, I did it really quickly by touching the bottom of the invisible wall and going under it. Now you want to freeze clip right here on the right. This is a really bad freeze clip, so don't worry if you lose a lot of time. That was a really good one. And you just want to switch characters and switch back really quickly so you can see your player icon, and you can line it up with this top part of this wall. Just be in this part, about there. And fly straight forwards. Keep going forwards until you're in the next room, because it's loaded in the same map. There's a big staircase, and this big circle, you want to go under it. So right here, or whatever, go under it and then go back into it. So we can actually enter the next room, because normally we try to go up the stairs. Or you can switch characters and fall into it, I forgot. So that's probably the fastest. Just fall into it with Harry. And we'll do this casually. With the orange spell, we hit this iron lock. And then we just force this blanket. And the key is going to be under the blanket. If you do the blanket first, the key is going to be in the thing in the back with the lock. Then put the key on the box, force it, and the level ends. Pretty easy. I'll show this one in game, purely for the first room. I want to show how you actually get it consistently. Skip the cutscene, fly up, by jumping, switching, go behind the invisible wall, and now we're right here. So we want to go under these stairs and go against this invisible wall that I'm against right now. It's under the door, and I just want to drop down, and I'll hit the trigger. And then this is the freeze clip. We go to the end. I'll just show it. Almost got a really quick freeze clip, but didn't want to give me it. And you want to be in the stop part. Keep going forwards, and you'll end up here. Switch. Okay, sometimes it doesn't work like that, and you want to just go back up. Orange spell. This. The lock. Get it. Put it on here. And the level ends. Okay. So we're on to the second to last level. 8-2. Whenever we load in, you want to skip the cutscene again, because there's a cutscene before this starts. Fly over the level. Just keep on flying over this first barricade. Keep on flying and land on top of the invisible wall at the end. Whenever you get to this house, land on top of it, of the invisible wall right next to it. It's like this big. You want to go behind it, and then you just want to turn back, and you'll fall into the trigger. Like that. Then the second room, you can do casually, or you can freeze clip in this front wall. So just freeze clip on the front. And then there's still floor behind this, so you won't fall down whenever you are through. So drop out player 2, switch to Grey Lady, go under the floor, on the left, a bit to the left under the floor, just to get behind this red wall. And this red wall has this like big T at the top. You want to be above this T, a bit to the right, and then go forwards and keep the same height. So that's the lineup for this door. Line up right there, go forwards and keep the same height. With the player icon. Yeah. Like maybe more in the middle. Doesn't have to be on the right too much. Then this big boss fight we skip by flying all the way to the back. Over these over this window. And in this middle part, the trigger's like all the way behind the level, perfectly in the middle. So you want to line up the player icon right here and just go straight forward and keep the same height again. Like that. That's a pretty easy one, pretty self-explanatory. And now this last level is really short. It's the very last level of the game. And it's really easy, that's why it's at the end. Enter free play for the last one. And then we're done with this run. Whenever we do this, this is really easy. Whenever you spawn into level, you'll drop. And then you want to jump and switch to start the Grey Lady fly and go upright. So we fly upright. We fly over this huge invisible wall. There's also one to the right. And we're gonna try to just get to the door of this big building, but we don't want to get past this line. We don't want to get actually to the door. So there's this pillar and stuff. We don't want to get to that. We want to get to this little thingy and this pillar. We want to get in between it. And we want to go to the left, and there's an invisible wall. We actually want to walk against it. So if you watch my input viewer, you'll see I'll walk against this wall. And the thing is, once you're just stuck against the wall, well, once you touch it, you can hold D-pad left, and then you'll just end the game. You'll hold D-pad left, and you'll walk past the wall. So this invisible wall right here. You'll walk past the wall, and you'll hit the door automatically, the debug door, to end this level. Really short level, about 20 seconds. So yeah, hold the D-pad left against this wall is the main thing. And then we're done. GG, you've done it. So if you have any more questions for this tutorial, for this run, you can ask them in the Discord. Feel free to DM me if you have a really important question, but you shouldn't really have to. The Discord will be in the description. Go to the 5 through 7 help or whatever it's called, the channel. Don't be afraid to ask. And GG. Hope you have fun learning and hope you have fun doing runs. See you next time.